Welcome back to the garage. Part 3 on the KFX400. Today, as you can see here, still on the stand. We're not going to do much with the frame itself today. Today we're going to work on the cases. And I think today, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail, we're going to do case prep. So what I'm going to do today is we're going to remove the old bearings. We're going to clean the cases. We're going to install the new bearings and all the seals. Maybe put the transmission in and the crank. We'll see how far we get in this video. It usually takes a long time. Case prep usually takes quite a while, so we might have enough content for a video. So I guess let's get to it. Okay, I'm going to start with this case half right here, which is this one. Only because I want to get this one done, replace the bearings and the seals if there are any on here. I don't see any seals on this one. And then switch everything over, clean everything out, install the transmission in this one. Switch this over, get this out of the way. Now, just looking at this, I want to take the oil screen out. Let's take this guy out and look at it. And it's pretty clean. It's it sure is a lot better than that one. Well, and what we discovered is this is the reason why the valve cam journals went, because it was to get enough oil to the top of the engine. And that's a shame, actually, but that's what happens when people don't maintain their motors properly. Things like that happen. All right, that bearing feels really good. That one feels really good. That's getting replaced. That's getting replaced. And I think, from what I'm looking at right here, I think there's a bearing missing out of there. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my ball torch and I'm going to heat up the case, because it makes the bearings come out a lot easier. All right, it's pretty hot, but what I did notice here is I want to pull this out here before I smoke the O-rings. Forgot to pull this out. We don't want to damage that. Put that over there. I don't know. This is the one that came out of this motor. I just want to make sure that if one's better than the other, we use the better of the two. All right, so she's pretty hot now. I'm going to use a large socket, and I'm just going to hit it and knock it out. I'm going to move it closer to the edge of the bench because this is where the support is with the cross beam. You can see how easy that came out. That's how you want to do it. There it is. She's out. All right, let's work on the other one. Once it starts smoking like that, you know it's pretty good. It's good and hot. So we should be able to just tap this right out. Okay. One hit with the hammer. That's all it took. And she's out. And by doing it this way, you don't ruin the case. Let's do some work on the other case. Now, in order for us to properly clean up the split line here, what we need to do is get these two pins out. These two pins were really rusty. I'm going to try heating the case up and see if I can pull them out. We'll start with this one right here. The case is starting to smoke, so we know it's pretty hot. Let's see if this will move. There we go. And it came right out. That's simple. Set that aside. Let's do the other one now. This one might be a little tricky because this one was really rusty, but I think it should come out. See if it comes out now. There it is. All right, so you guys can see you can get them out. You just got to use heat, and that's it. Torch is your friend. Don't use hammers or anything like that. You can get them out. It just takes a little bit of work. All right, guys, here we are. I think what I want to do first is I want to check these surfaces to make sure they're good before we go any before I even put bearings in it, just to make sure that these surfaces are good. This one here I'm going to check first. It's not a big deal. We can fix this with RTV, but the split line I do not want leaking, so we're going to check that next. But let's do this one first. And this is the way I always do it, with a little bit of WD on my soapstone, or polishing stone, or whatever you want to call it. And I'm just going to go around here and look for any really low spots. And subscribers to the channel will know what I'm doing here, because I do it all the time. All right, let's see what we got here. Now we got a lot of RTV in here that we got to get out, but for now I just want to check the surface. All right, so let me see if I get everything off. Just looking at this right now, it's low through here. It's low through here. All in this area is low, and it's low through here. So this will be fine, because the gasket will make up for that. And I just tap it maybe with a little RTV and it'll be fine. I don't think this is going to cause a problem with anything, because I can see now that even though that was low, it's starting to hit. So this surface looks good. That's all I'm going to do for now, because we need to flip it over, and I'm going to be doing some banging on it, putting these bearings in, and believe me, I don't want to waste a lot of time on that right now, because I'm going to have to do it again anyway. So now, this is the side that really matters. Let's check this real quick. And there's a ton of RTV. You can see right here, tons of it. It's all got to come out. But for now, I just want to see what we have to work with here. And I'm concerned with this area out here, because it looks like there's screwdriver marks in here, and they weren't from me. So probably from whoever split this case. Use a screwdriver, and that is the worst thing you can do, because you damage them and then they don't seal. So I want to see what we have to work with here to make sure that there are no catastrophic issues that are going to keep us from using these cases. All right, that's the first go over. Let's get a look and see what we got here. All right, so we have RTV that's still stuck right on here. I'll have to scrape that off with a razor blade, and you gotta do it real careful. I'm gonna show you how to do that. Through here, it's low right here, not a big deal. There is a screwdriver mark right there, but it's not even halfway in, so that should be okay. Let's see what we got down here. There's a lot of screwdriver marks through here, which is okay too, because we just need it to seal in this area here, and there's a massive screwdriver mark right there. We also have a pretty good mark right there, which is halfway through. Another one here, and a bunch here. I think we'll be all right though. It looks like it'll probably seal no problem, but I'll work these cases to make sure that we get a good sealing surface here. So let me get a razor blade. All right, here's a razor blade here, and hopefully you guys can see what I'm gonna do here. I'm just gonna try to scrape this off. Very gently, so I don't score the case. And if I pick it up, you can see right there that it is taking some RTV off. so now the tedious part is there's RTV inside all these holes, and we got to get it all out, because if any of it gets in the area where we're sealing, we're gonna have problems. So like this stuff right here, this overflow right here, you guys can see that. All this stuff's got to come out. It's a tedious job, and as corny as it may sound, someone's got to do it, so it looks like that somebody's me. So I won't bore you with all the details, but again, I'm gonna go around this whole thing. I'm gonna pick out all the RTV. I'm gonna scrape anything that's remnant. I'm gonna go over this a few more times, and we'll come back and show you the end result. All right, guys, I've been working this case half now for like 15 minutes. I kept going over it and going over it and going over it. As you can see from this pile over here, this is the pile of RTV that I picked out of all the holes and around the inside of the engine case. So all that's out of there. That's good. As far as the split line goes, I'm not happy about this. I've never had a set of engine cases leak oil on me as long as I've been doing this, if I split the cases. But whoever split these cases, the ones that the owner of the bike bought secondhand, use a screwdriver to split them. And that pisses me off, because you ruin the cases when you do that. Why would you? I mean, if you don't have the proper tools, don't split cases. And you can see that no matter how hard I try, you can see it all in here. That's all screwdriver marks in through here. The top of the case here seems pretty good, but this is really mangled in here. And there's a pretty good sized one right here on the bottom of the engine. And there's a bunch right here. So we're probably going to develop a leak here and here. I'll RTV it up good. It probably won't leak at first, but through vibration and heat cycles, it's probably going to generate a leak eventually. And it is what it is. I mean, the cases are good. Other than that, they're really in good shape, other than the fact that the bonehead that took them apart used screwdrivers instead of a case splitter. But it is what it is. I mean, look at this one right here. Look at the size of the nick right there. I mean, you could see it looks like a screwdriver tip. So, and there's a pretty good size one right here. I've worked it enough where I think I have enough flat surface all the way around the case to seal. But like I said, I don't know what's going to happen through heat cycles and all that stuff, but hopefully it'll seal. There's no need for me to call the owner of the bike to tell him, because he's a subscriber and he watches the video, so he's gonna know. He's gonna know when he watches this video. Anyway, we're gonna continue on, and there's really nothing we can do. It's a shame, but it is what it is. So what we'll do now is we're gonna start cleaning this up with some brake clean, and I think we're ready to start assembling. But I need to clean this up really good, and I'll do that off camera. You know what, before I start cleaning this all up, I'll show you guys a little trick. So the oil feed plug is here. We have another one, but these cases came with one as well. So I'll show you guys a little trick here on how to reuse these brass copper washers. So what you want to do is, these washers here seal. One goes on each side of the banjo fitting on the oil line, and they have to be perfectly flat, and then they crush into position and avoid leaks. When you reuse these, a lot of times there might be a deviation or a little nick in it from the surface before, but it's not in the exact same place, and then you develop a drip. I'm going to show you how to fix that right now without buying new ones, and it's pretty easy. This is a precision ground block. This is perfectly flat. This is 400 grit paper. I'm just going to put it on the block, give it a little bit of WD. I'm going to take the washer, I'm going to put it on here, and I'm just going to move it around. You can see how the paper's getting copper color because it's cleaning it up. And I'm going to do that until it's perfectly flat. Just about there. Now I'm going to clean it with a piece of paper towel, I should say. I'll show you guys. Okay, looks brand new. There's still a little bit of a ridge on there. I'm going to do it a little bit more, but you can see the difference between sides. And that's how you make your crush washers reusable. Just a tech tip. All right, guys, one more thing before I start cleaning this up. So I'll show you. So these are you can see how they look brand new. And those are going to seal perfectly. I mean, are they cheap? Probably. You could probably buy them for $6 or something, but why buy them if you can just fix what you have? I want to pull these studs out of here because I need to stone this surface and clean it up really good because there is some gasket on here stuck, and I would like to remove these. All right, studs are out. Now I can stone this whole surface flat and make sure, and I'll do that once the cases are back together so I can make sure that there's a smooth transition between the two. Now, I noticed in the comments that somebody compared my channel to another channel because every time they said that when they watch my channel and they watch the other person's channel, they learn a lot. I don't know if I should be offended or flattered that they compared me with that channel. And I'm not bashing the guy. He seems pretty knowledgeable, but the channel's too vintage. I've watched his channel a few times, and I find him to be somewhat of a hack. He's very knowledgeable and he does get stuff running, but his prep work is non-existent, and it pains me to watch his videos sometimes, to be perfectly honest with you, because he's showing people how to fix stuff, but not necessarily the proper way to prep. When you do stuff, he pulls engines apart dirty and puts them back together dirty. He doesn't clean any of the surfaces. And anyway, rant over. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna hit it with the brake clean and come back when I'm done. Okay, it's all sprayed out, it's all cleaned. These bearings feel good. I don't see anything wrong with these. I'll clean them one more time and then I'll fully lube them and they'll be good. Now, I think what we want to do is install let me grab some Q-tips here. I want to install the balancer bearing. And you can see there, it's still pulling some crud out. So, you want them very clean. And the main crank bearing. That should get us pretty clean. And again, a little bit of dirt. And this case half is super clean right now. I'll give you guys a little bit more light on it so you can see. This light doesn't work very well. Anyway, you get the idea. It's pretty clean. All right, let me go to the freezer and find the bearings. Actually, there's a bearing that's supposed to be in here too. And I'm not sure where that one is. Let me clean that one up too, because I think we're gonna have to install that one, because that one's missing. And somebody took that out with the transmission. All right, guys, I got it up on blocks. I got a piece of metal underneath so I don't catch my bench on fire. We're gonna start with the small one, and then we're gonna go to the big one, because then the case will be really hot at that point, and we can just slam the big bearing in. There's wording and country of origin and all that on these bearings. These have to face the inside of the engine. Same as this one. They face the inside of the engine. So when I put those in, the words need to be facing up. All right, let's start heating. Just so you guys know, the bearings have been in my freezer for a little over 2 weeks, so they should be pretty cold. So 450 degrees should be plenty to get that to drop in. I usually wait until the case starts smoking like this, and then I give it a try. Sometimes they fall right in, sometimes they require a little bit of tapping, but in any case, they do fall in. I'm gonna heat this a little bit more, and then I'm gonna get the Baron. All right, let's give it a shot. This Baron is freezing cold, and it is letters up, and it falls right in. All right, guys, let's give it a shot. It's smoking. This should fall right in. There it goes. And that's it. I didn't use a hammer on this or anything. And because that Baron is so cold, it's going to instantly cool the cases. All right, we got the other set of cases up here now. And in order to do this one, I need to pull this one. I can't push it through because it's blind. So I need to use a Baron puller on that. And this one here, we can hammer through from the other side. All right, it's my Baron puller. Just going to push it down inside the hole. And then we're going to tighten this up until it expands enough to hold it. Should be good enough for what we're looking to do here. I'm going to screw this on there. Tip it down sideways. And I should just be able to pop that right out of there. There it is. Should be good enough for what we need. There we go. She's out. Ooh, she's hot. All right, now, while we got this thing up, let's get this off because we're gonna replace that seal. All right, let's pop some of these out, and you want to be very careful not to damage anything underneath. So there's the first one. This one here. They should come out pretty easy. Oof, this thing is hot. All right, it's moving. And they have seal pull tools for this. If you have one, use it. And if you use a screwdriver, be very careful you don't score that inside wall. All right, there we go. That's that one. Let's get that off. I'm gonna need my impact driver, I think. There we go, that one's broke free. All right. Sometimes these don't want to come off because of Loctite, so good idea to buy one of these. But make sure you got JSN bits because American bits are not your friend when it comes to Japanese. Let's pop this one out. Same deal. Be very careful of the wall. You don't score it. There we go. That one's out. All right, we need to get this alignment pin out. And that one there is frozen as well. So we're going to need to put a little heat on that. Free that up. There it is. Man, that was difficult to get out. It's out now though. All right, let's move this up. As you can see here, this Baron fell out because the case has got super hot, which is okay, because we'll just put the new one back in there. We got a new one for that too. I think right now what I want to do is start cleaning this up. And we have quite a bit of cleanup to do. So we'll start with stonework. Like we did before. This time I'm gonna work this edge I don't think I need to work that. But we're gonna work this edge and do some cleaning. I'm gonna clean what I can off of this and then clean this. So first, we're gonna do a little bit of scraping. You guys can see here. I'm gonna do a little bit of scraping to get off what we can. I'm not gonna bore you guys with it, but I'm gonna continue to work this surface. Then the split line, clean all the RTV out, and come back when I'm done. All right, pretty clean now. What I want to do is get inside these holes here, just to get some of the stuff out of here, because I need to put these alignment pins back in. And this does a pretty good job of cleaning those out. Hit it with a little bit of air. Should be good enough to get those back in. I think we're ready to start assembling. Put some bearings in this thing. Let's get set up for that. All right, let's get ready to put bearings in this. And I think what I want to show you guys real quick is that this bearing is sealed. It's sealed on both sides. In the factory, you have to pop one of the sides off, so you only have it sealed on one side, which I did, so we're all set. All right, let's heat this up and see if we can sink these bearings and move on to something else. All right, guys, there we go. All the bearings fill in. They look good. They turn nice. And we should be good to go. I guess at this point here, all you have to do is assemble. All right, back to the old engine. I think what we need to do now is pull the transmission. And we're gonna pull it out and inspect everything, set it aside, and clean it if I need to. So let's do that while we're waiting for those K's halves to cool off. So I think what I want to do first is I want to take the barrel out if I can, and I think we'll pull so we're going to pull the shift forks out, and that's just a rod that goes all the way in. So pull that rod out. That's the top fork. And the bottom one don't want to come out. Let's pull the rod out of this if we can. Put that aside. So it doesn't look like it's going to allow me to do that. Oop. Take that gear off. I think we're going to have to pull the main shaft out here. Alright, there's the shift drum. Looks pretty good, no issues with that. Okay, now we should be able to get this guy out. That's the reverse. Pull this fork out. We should be able to just grab this barrel of gears. It should work them out. They should just come right out. In a perfect world. Let's pull this shaft. And I'll put that spacer back where it was. gear. And these two guys, one goes on there, one goes on there. Now let's see if we can get these out. Alright, so they may require some tappage. Seem to be stuck in there. Hopefully they're not seized. Hopefully you guys can see what I'm doing. I have a real mess here. Alright, let's see if I can tap this out of here. Seems like it's going. Alright, it's going. Boy, it's tight. She don't want to come out of there. Seems to be caulking. She definitely don't want to come out of there. Usually these come out pretty simple. This one not so much. Alright, let's try driving that back in a little bit. I'm gonna tap it out now. It's almost out of the bearing. One set of gears is loose, the other one not so much. Doesn't want to come out. There it is. Alright, let's flip it up. Pull these out of here. Alright, so there's a drive gear for your clutch. Pull this out in one piece. And we'll put that spacer back where it belongs. And this guy where it belongs. So the bike came with another set of bearings, which is in this plastic bag here. Alright, so that's got to be the bearing. I'm going to clean it up a little bit because it's got a lot of weird goop on it. Put it in the freezer. Let's start putting the transmission in. I think I want to put a little bit of motor oil inside the bearings where the transmission goes. Just to give it something. And a little bit down in there. There we go. This gear goes here. And then we need that on top of that. There we go. All right, that's in. Now the reverse lever goes in. So when you put this in, make sure these two are lined up because these both go in the drum. So it's a little tricky, but you can get it. There we go. That's in there. And the spring goes back on here. Now we're gonna put the lower shift fork in first, because that one there was difficult. I think now we're going to put the drum in. The drum goes in. The drum goes in this way, this side down. All right, so this one's got to come up to here. There we go. Now we got to put the top one in, which goes up here. And then the shaft in both, and then we have to get these into their slots. So this one's got to come up. That one's in that slot, that one's in that slot. Oop. I gotta put it inside the, there we go. All right, everything looks good. Transmission looks good. All right. Next, we're going to install the crank. And before we do that, I need to clean the rust off it. And I'm just going to use a wire wheel to do that. All right, the crank is clean. Got all the rust off it, just with a wire wheel. And then I oiled it up. I made sure not to get any of the rust down inside the bearing surface, which I'm pretty sure I didn't. So we should be good shape there. The crank rod feels really good. There's nothing wrong with this, so we're going to throw it back in. All right, let's try it. See if she'll fall in this time. There we go. Fell right in. Perfect. A little bit of heat goes a long way. And it's spinning really nice. We'll take that. We'll take that all day. All right, now that we have all this done, the case halves had alignment pins in them. These are the two best ones. I pulled this one out of the other engine, and I'm going to clean them up on the wire wheel. All right, they're all cleaned up. You can see they look much better. Well, it should work pretty good for an alignment pin. And we don't want a ton on there. Just enough to keep it from rusting. Do this one. All right, one more thing. I gotta put the balancer in. Let's get the rust off of that, shall we? All right, guys. Cleaned this all up. Got all the rust off it. It looks good. And now we're going to install it. So I'm going to put a little bit of oil in this bearing. Not a lot, because it's just going to leak out. But just something, because there's nothing in it. And I'm going to oil up the shaft a little bit too. Just put a little bit on there, a little bit down in there. Work it around. All right, now this goes in. Right like that. I don't know why it's hitting. It shouldn't be hitting. There is an awful lot of space on one side, not the other. All right, guys, we got a problem. It's always something. I didn't order these bearings for this bike, but the main crank bearings that the owner of the bike wanted me to use because they're from Japan, and the other kit that he bought were hot rods bearings. He wanted to use Japanese bearings, which are fine. They're better bearings. I agree. Problem is they're not the right bearings. And I'm gonna show you why right now. Let me put you on the bench and show you what I just noticed. All right guys, I got the balancer in here and it's fine. But if you listen, it's hitting the crank. Why is it hitting the crank? It shouldn't be hitting the crank. See that gap right there? It's what, maybe 1/8 of an inch, right? Look down there. On the bottom, it's actually touching the crank. So the crank's not in all the way, not in far enough, because this balancer should be in the center of that crankshaft, and it's not. So let me show you what I found. Now, this is the other case half that I already have finished, and it's just waiting for assembly. This is the crank bearing right here, the main crank bearing. If you look, try to do it so you can see the outside of it. See how it sticks up a little bit? It's up about probably, I don't know, 80 thousandths maybe. Let me walk you over and show you one of the old case halves, which is this guy right here. Rotate it around, and you can see it's flush with the cases. So what I did is, I'll show you guys. Let's see if I can set you up so you can see it. I took my precision block and I laid it flat on the bearings right here. Took my digital vernier, set it 0, and let me just double check to make sure it is 0. And it wasn't. It was 1/1000th off. Not that that matters. All right, so now I'm going to take this block and I'm going to put it right up against the bearing. Now on the other side of the bearing, I'm going to measure in. All right. You guys see that? We got 760 thousandths is the number. Now, let me grab one of the bearings that I took out of the motor. This is the original main bearing right here. I'm going to measure it. You guys see that? Hopefully you can. 705 thousandths. So it's about 50 thousandths too big. So I got to take those main bearings out because they are not the right ones. Now, to add insult to injury, let's just double check the bearings that came from hot rods. And we're looking for around 706 thousandths, 705 thousandths. And let me show you what I got here. You guys can see 706 thousandths. So I got to take these bearings out and put the hot rods bearings in. So basically the hot rods bearings are going to be used, and these Japanese bearings got to come back out. And it's not such a big deal on the other case half because that one there is basically already, there's nothing in it, so it's pretty easy to knock that other one out and then drop the new one in. Problem is that now I got to take the transmission back out of this. I got to take the crank out. What a pain in the ass. All right, on that note, I'm calling it a day. I'll do all that off camera and get it back to where it needs to be. It's a good thing I noticed that, because if I put the cases together and I started clamping down on them, the crank, I probably would have broke something. Unfortunately, I didn't order these bearings, and I'm not going to blame the owner of the bike because he probably thought he ordered the right bearings. He might have got them on eBay or something. And eBay's notorious for sending wrong shit. But anyway, luckily, we have a set of main bearings that we can use, so all is not lost. The only problem is now is I'm going to lose another 4 hours taking this thing apart and putting new bearings in it. Anyway, the story of an ATV mechanic, I guess. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm going to cut the video here, and I'm going to strip this down, get it back to where it's supposed to be, and then in the next video, we'll put the cases together. We'll throw it back in the bike. We'll get it going. You know, we'll get moving forward once again. But until then, I love doing shit twice. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. All that stuff, and I hope you're enjoying the series, because I wasn't until now. Anyway, thanks for watching. I'll see you guys in video 4, I mean.